Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're back here on the Black Ops 4 beta. Now, to be clear, the beta is long gone. We won't be able to play the Black Ops 4 multiplayer again until October, but I played the beta so much these past few weekends that I have enough footage to last me until the Modern Warfare 4 beta. Here in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the current situation of the Call of Duty franchise and why Activision absolutely needs this game to be successful, because the future of the series pretty much depends on it. The Call of Duty franchise, as we know it, is currently at a crossroads. I know to some of you guys that may not seem true, because the community tends to get pretty extreme around this time of year. Everybody's always saying that COD is either dead or that COD is still the most popular game ever, and I think both sides are actually kind of right. On one hand, Call of Duty is still outselling all the competition every single year, but on the other hand, the series has been on a huge sales decline for quite a long time now. Part of that is due to the fact that when Modern Warfare 2 came out, and the original Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3, all of those games were pretty much gaming anomalies. Like, when Call of Duty blew up, it blew up in a way that most other games don't, right? Every now and then, a new game comes out, and it's really popular for a while, but very few games can compare to the popularity that Call of Duty saw between 2009 and 2012. I would say the only games in recent memory that could even compare to Call of Duty's early success would be maybe Grand Theft Auto 5, definitely Minecraft, and definitely Fortnite. The only difference between those three games and the Call of Duty franchise is all of those games have been expanding upon the same game ever since it was released. Like, GTA 5 has been continuously updated since it came out, and the same is true for Fortnite, and the same is true for Minecraft. But in Call of Duty, after like 9 months, each game stops being supported. They've been giving us annual titles for almost 15 years now, and each one of those titles is a little bit different than the one that came before it. Even though COD haters will say that Call of Duty is the same game every single year, that's not necessarily true. Like, FIFA is the same game every year. Madden is the same game every year. You look at the Call of Duty franchise, I mean, is Black Ops 2 anywhere near what Modern Warfare 2 was? Or is Call of Duty Ghosts in any way similar to World at War? They're very different games. They're in the same series. They feel like they belong in the same series, but fundamentally, they're very different games with all their mechanics and their features and stuff like that. I mean, again, compare, I don't know, Modern Warfare 3 to Infinite Warfare. Even though they're made by the same developer, they feel like very different games while still feeling like they belong in the same series. That's the trade-off that Call of Duty has been doing, right? Like, you take a game like GTA 5, they've updated that one game continuously for years and years and years now, which to some fans is fun, but in the Call of Duty franchise, they've been doing pretty much the same thing, but instead of just updating one game over and over, they give us a brand new game every single year that has different maps, different guns, different streaks, different mechanics, different progress systems and stuff like that, different campaigns most of the time, zombies maps. So that's what the Call of Duty trade-off is. It's similar to the game that came out before, but it's a different game at the same time, and for a while that worked out for Activision really well, and you could argue that it's still working out to this day, because even though sales are on the decline, Call of Duty is still super popular. But I would argue that recently, the newer games haven't been able to capture the same spark that the older games did. I feel like Activision has noticed the same thing, because they've been trying a lot of new things over the course of the past 5 years or so. It started when they tried to strike out with a brand new Modern Warfare series in the form of Ghost, and even though Ghost sold ridiculously well, like, it's actually one of the better selling games in the entire Call of Duty series, by February, there was a more active player base on Black Ops 2. Like, for some reason, that game did not resonate with fans. The core idea behind it, I think, was really cool, but to a lot of fans, it lacked proper execution, and therefore, it never got a sequel, and they basically pretend like the game never happened. After that, they gave us the Jetpack era, where for 3 straight years, the developers gave us a different advanced movement game. Each one was a little bit different. They all had their own twist on movement, and their own twist on futuristic gameplay mechanics, and I can't say they were flops. Like, even though the advanced movement games were not personally my cup of tea, I can't say they were flops, because they still outsold all the competition every single year. Like, Infinite Warfare outsold Battlefield 1, for crying out loud, which still blows my mind to this day. So they weren't flops, but they didn't do much to bring Call of Duty back to its former glory. In fact, I would argue that the advanced movement games divided the community and left fans feeling alienated more so than anything, right? Because a lot of people did not like advanced movement, but they love Call of Duty, so they had to either deal with it for 3 years, which some people act like 3 years is not that long of a time. That's almost enough time to graduate high school, for crying out loud. Like, think back to your high school days and how long high school went on for. That was basically the entire length we had advanced movement games in the Call of Duty franchise, right? So that's a pretty freaking long time, and we had to deal with it or find a new game to play, which lots of people found 2 games to play. And there's another part of the community that became fans of the Call of Duty franchise during the Jetpack era, and now those fans expect every game to have advanced movement movement, and when they don't see advanced movement, they feel let down and they leave the franchise to go play something else. So it's really a lose-lose situation. I don't think it was a very good idea for them to give us 3 straight advanced movement games. If anything, they should have paced them out like 1 every 3 years or something like that. But regardless, the jetpack era ended, and then Activision decided to try to bring the series back to its roots with classic boots on the ground gameplay and a World War II setting. And even though COD World War II had more hype behind it than any other COD game for like the past 5 years, and it also broke tons of records at launch, it was not able to hold on to fans long term. Right? I think we can all agree, as much as we like Call of Duty World War II, especially here on this channel, I think we can all agree it was not able to hold on to fans long term, and I think that was due to a number of factors. Number one, the launch was a huge mess because Activision's servers could not handle all of the returning players. Number two, there was significantly less content during the release window as compared to previous games. Number three, like I just mentioned, we're coming off of 3 straight years of advanced movement games where we could literally jump 10 feet in the air and wall run, and now we're suddenly back with boots on the ground. We're back in World War II, and for a lot of fans, the game felt pretty slow and boring by comparison. I mean, if you're used to one style of play for 3 straight years, and then you go back to this style of play, obviously for a lot of fans, it's going to be a pretty big deal. Number 4, this is the 14th main game in the series, and for lots of fans, franchise fatigue is finally starting to kick in. And number 5, Fortnite happened. It's gotta be said, Fortnite happened. That's a pretty big deal. If I could, I would like to focus on factor number 4 for a moment, because I feel like this is something that is not discussed often enough within the Call of Duty community. I feel like after years of using the same business model over and over, fans are starting to grow weary of the annual release cycle. It's hard to get super invested in a game long term when you know for a fact that that game is going to basically become irrelevant in under 1 year's time. You look at the other competition, like I mentioned, like Fortnite or Overwatch or Rainbow Six or PUBG or Battlefield or GTA 5 or all these other games. Those games are worth investing time and money into because they aren't really going anywhere, right? Whereas in the Call of Duty franchise, you drop $60 on the game, you can drop $50 extra on the game to get the season pass and unlock the rest of the game, and who knows how much money you're going to spend on supply drops. And while all that content does stay with you, it doesn't really go anywhere most of the time, it becomes harder to enjoy that content as the game gets older because 90% of the community migrates to a new game every single year, whereas all those other games I mentioned, they're all just one game. Like GTA 5 is one game that's constantly updated. Overwatch is one game that's constantly updated. To a lot of fans, that's worth investing more money into because it's not going anywhere, right? If you buy a bunch of skins in Overwatch in like 2015, they're still there in 2018, and they're just as relevant now as they were back then because it's the exact same game that's being updated, whereas the same is not true of skins you bought in Black Ops 3. Those skins are not relevant whatsoever in Black Ops 4, as an example. I also think it's worth mentioning that as these games get older, they become less supported by the developers, and eventually they get overthrown by modders and hackers, so much so that it's not even worth playing the older games most of the time, because you run the risk of losing everything on your account if you happen to get into the wrong lobby. In the case of Black Ops 2, you don't even have to sign in or get into the wrong lobby, you can get reset for really no reason whatsoever, and I've made an entire video already talking about this, so forgive me for repeating myself, but in Black Ops 2, there is a way for people to reset your rank whenever they want. They can mod your account completely, and they don't even have to be in a lobby with you. They can do it remotely. All they have to know is your Xbox gamer tag or your PlayStation ID. That's pretty much it, right? And so that's why every single YouTuber and live streamer is a level 1 non-prestige in Black Ops 2. It's because it's super easy to mod, and that wouldn't be the case if Activision/Treyarch still supported that game, but they don't, right? Because the game is 6 years old, and they're not making any money from it whatsoever. That's what it comes down to. They don't make money from Black Ops 2, they make much more money from the newer Call of Duty games, and those games are the ones that actually get the focus. Like, if they release a brand new gun for Call of Duty World War II, they'll make more money from supply drops in one day than they ever will from Black Ops 2 again, because just not that many people are actually buying Black Ops 2 anymore as compared to the newer Call of Duty games, right? So that's the fundamental flaw with the Call of Duty franchise, at least in my opinion, though this time around, Activision and Treyarch are working to make Black Ops 4 the most supported Call of Duty game of all time. They've been claiming that Black Ops 4 will be heavily supported for years to come with updates and content and patches and DLC and all sorts of stuff like that. And if that turns out to be true, if they stick to their word, that might be the change we need here for the Call of Duty franchise to take that downward trend and put it back on the upswing yet again. Though I do have some concerns about this business model, right? Because if the leaks are to be believed, then right now Infinity Ward is working on not only Modern Warfare 4, but Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. And if Black Ops 4 is going to be heavily heavily supported with updates and patches and all sorts of stuff for years to come, won't that cannibalize the sales of Modern Warfare 4 and Modern Warfare 2 Remastered? Like, that's the reason why these Call of Duty games stop being updated as soon as their 1-year life cycle is over. Like, for example, Infinity Ward does not want to cannibalize the Call of Duty World War II sales by adding a bunch of DLC to Infinite Warfare. Now, occasionally there are exceptions, like DLC 6 that we saw back in Black Ops 3, but by and large, the developers try not to compete with one another. They try to work together so they don't cannibalize each other's sales. But who knows? Maybe some in-house competition is exactly what this franchise needs to return to the former glory days. So to be honest with you guys, I don't think it's fair to expect every new Call of Duty game to be as good as Modern Warfare 2 or the original Black Ops or Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 2. They can get close, and I want them to try, but I feel as though we as a community are setting ourselves up for disappointment by expecting every game to be as good as those older ones. Those old games were like capturing lightning in a bottle. That's like expecting every new game to be the next Fortnite or the next Minecraft. The chances of that happening are very slim. They can happen. It's actually possible, but the chances are very low. So will Black Ops 4 be the next big game in the Call of Duty franchise? It could be. I mean, there are enough changes with the game that could actually be the breath of fresh air that we're looking for, but it really comes down to how they handle the game, at least in my opinion. I still feel as though they need to change up the Black Ops Pass. We will likely be talking about that in another video in the relatively near future, but they need to change up the Black Ops Pass, and if they really do support the game heavily for years to come, this could be a really good year for the Call of Duty franchise. But if it fails, that's not a good thing. That's a really, really bad thing, because if the Call of Duty sales numbers continue to go down even after Black Ops 4, then I'm not sure they're ever going to spike back up again, because they've tried so many things so far and nothing has really worked. Occasionally they have an increase, like for example, Call of Duty World War II did outsell Infinite Warfare, but it wasn't a giant increase as compared to what we saw back in the day, right? And if Black Ops 4 doesn't take us back to where we were way back when, I'm not sure any Call of Duty game can, though I should mention, if the rumors are true, then Modern Warfare 4 is coming out after Black Ops 4, and that game is probably going to be pretty popular. Of course, we have Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, so we really have no idea what's going to be happening in the future of the Call of Duty franchise, but it's definitely a very interesting time for the series. If there's one thing we know, it's that Treyarch games always do well, and they always are very well received by the community, but after reading all the feedback from the beta, the community seems pretty split this year, so Activision has a lot riding on Black Ops 4. They need this game to be successful, and that's what I want to talk about here in today's video. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you guys here today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave all your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section below. Where do you think the Call of Duty franchise is right now? Where do you see it going in the future? I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.